Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coin Insights. What if I told you that a simple coin, no bigger than the palm of your hand, could be worth thousands of dollars? Not just any coin, but the 1989 American nickel. Stay tuned, because this isn't just another history lesson. This is about hidden treasures, mysterious errors, and how one tiny mistake could make a coin priceless. Let's dive into the world of rare nickels. In today's video, we're going to break down the story of the 1989 American nickel, its significance, and why it holds a special place in the hearts of coin collectors and investors. But before we do that, let's get a quick look at how this nickel came to be and what makes it so intriguing. But hold on, before we get into the value of this elusive coin, did you know that some 1989 nickels have a hidden error that could make them worth up to 100 times their face value? Trust me, you won't want to miss the shocking discovery I'll reveal in just a few minutes. The 1989 nickel was minted during a fascinating time in U.S. history. By this point, the Jefferson nickel had been around for over 50 years, having been first designed in 1938 by Felix Schlag. The coin featured Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, and his famous home, Monticello, on the reverse. This design had been pretty consistent throughout the decades, but by 1989, the coin was starting to show some signs of age. The 1989 coin marks the end of a decade of changes, both in U.S. coinage and the country itself. The economy was shifting, the country was seeing political changes, and even the design of our coins was due for a fresh look. But amidst all these transitions, one small flaw in the production process would turn this nickel into something much more than just pocket change. The 1989 nickel was created with the same materials as earlier years, a combination of copper and nickel, but there was something going on in the minting machinery that caused a rare error, one that would make some 1989 nickels far more valuable than their face value. Now, here's where things get interesting. Some 1989 nickels contain an error that many collectors are desperate to find. The error involves a misalignment of the die, which leads to a faint doubling of Jefferson's face. This phenomenon isn't something you see every day. Imagine looking at a regular nickel, holding it in your hand, and seeing that Jefferson's face appears slightly doubled. You might not think much of it, but to a collector, this is a major find. The error is caused by a misalignment between the obverse die, which stamps the front of the coin, and the reverse die. When these dies don't line up properly, it results in that doubled image of Jefferson, an error that makes the coin incredibly rare. Now, you may be wondering, why is this doubling so significant? Well, error coins, especially ones as noticeable as this, are highly sought after by collectors. And in the world of numismatics, rarity is key to a coin's value. A normal 1989 nickel is worth just 5 cents. But if you find one with the doubled image, you could be looking at a value of $500 to $1,000 or more, depending on the condition. But that's not the only thing that makes these nickels valuable. Some 1989 nickels don't just feature the doubled face, they also have other subtle errors that make them even rarer. For instance, the mint mark on some of these coins has been misstamped, adding to the overall scarcity and making these errors even more prized by collectors. And to add to the mystery, the condition of the coin can have a huge impact on its value. In pristine condition, you might be able to fetch several $1,000s for a rare 1989 nickel with these errors. If you're lucky enough to find one, you'll want to examine it closely to see if there's any noticeable doubling. Keep in mind that not every 1989 nickel will have this error, which is exactly why it's so highly sought after by collectors. But here's the twist. This error isn't the only thing that makes a 1989 nickel valuable. There's an even more mysterious factor that could be hiding in plain sight. Stick around, because what I'm about to share next could change how you look at your pocket change forever. The 1989 nickel isn't just valuable on its own. It's actually part of a much larger pattern in the world of rare U.S. coins. From misprints to minting errors, coins like the 1989 nickel are often linked to larger trends in coin collecting and numismatics. Take, for example, the famous 1955 doubled die penny. Much like the 1989 nickel, this coin contains a noticeable error, one that caused it to become one of the most valuable coins in history. Over time, other coins, like the 2000 Sacagawea dollar, have followed a similar path, with a simple mistake leading to a huge jump in value, and the 1989 nickel. It could be just as rare, if not rarer, depending on what you find. Some of these nickels, especially those with the error, have sold for tens of thousands of dollars at auctions. You're probably thinking, is it really possible for a nickel to be worth that much? Well, experts say that as more people get into coin collecting and as the interest in numismatics grows, coins like the 1989 nickel could be worth even more in the future, but don't just take my word for it. Let's take a moment to hear from a coin expert who's worked with some of these rare finds. Insert expert interview or commentary. As you can see, coins with errors, like the 1989 nickel, are highly prized because they represent a piece of history, a mistake that has transformed into something truly valuable. If you happen to find one of these rare 1989 nickels, you might be holding onto a treasure worth far more than you think. So, how do you spot a rare 1989 nickel in the wild? It's not as hard as you think, but you need to know exactly what to look for. First, start by inspecting Jefferson's face closely. Look for any signs of doubling, especially around the eyes, nose, and mouth. It's subtle, but once you know what you're looking for, it becomes easier to spot. Next, check the mint mark to ensure it's not misstamped, which can add even more value to the coin. If you're serious about hunting for these rare nickels, you'll want to have the right tools. A magnifying glass or a digital microscope can help you spot the fine details, and remember, condition is key. Coins in pristine condition, especially with clear error markings, are far more valuable than those in poor shape. If you're not sure about the coin's condition, it's always a good idea to take it to a professional numismatist or a reputable dealer for a closer look. Right now, the 1989 nickel with the error can fetch between $500 and $1,000 in good condition. But if you find one in mint condition or with an even rarer error, you could see it sold for even more. There are reports of these nickels selling for as much as $5,000 or even higher at private auctions. The market for rare coins is constantly changing, and as interest in coin collecting continues to rise, these rare 1989 nickels could become even more valuable in the future. So, should you be on the lookout for one? Absolutely, but wait, there's still one last piece to the puzzle. Some people believe that the 1989 nickel holds even deeper secrets that haven't been uncovered yet. What if there's another mistake out there, one that's so rare, it could be worth millions of dollars? Could there be even more hidden treasure in the world of 1989 nickels? Who knows? You might be holding on to a treasure right now without even knowing it. If you liked this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, because in the next episode, we're going to dive even deeper into the mysterious world of rare coins. You won't believe what we've got lined up next. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes, the smallest things hold the greatest value. See you in the next one. The 1988 American nickel. You've probably seen it a million times, but did you know that this seemingly ordinary coin could be hiding something far more valuable than its face value? By the end of this video, you'll know how to spot a rare version of the 1988 nickel, and trust me, it could make you a lot of money. But here's the catch, not all 1988 nickels are created equal. In fact, there's a rare version of this coin that could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Stick with me as we unravel the mystery behind the 1988 American nickel, and stay tuned to find out how you can spot the hidden treasure in your own coin collection. Now, before we dive into the details of the 1988 nickel itself, let's take a step back and talk about the history of the American nickel. The nickel, as we know it today, wasn't always the coin we carry in our pockets. It was first introduced in 1866, just after the Civil War, when the U.S. Mint decided to make a larger, more durable coin to meet the growing demands of commerce. The initial design featured a shield on the obverse and a 5-cent piece with an ornate scrollwork on the reverse. Over the years, the design of the nickel evolved, but it wasn't until the 1930s that the familiar Buffalo nickel became iconic. Then, in 1938, the U.S. Mint introduced the Jefferson nickel, which is still the design you'll find on most nickels today. But here's where it gets interesting: the 1988 American nickel, although seemingly ordinary, marked a significant moment in the history of this coin. Why 1988, you ask? Well, it was a year of subtle changes. There weren't any dramatic overhauls or redesigns, but a few minor tweaks were made in the minting process, making this year's coin stand out among the rest. The design of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse remained the same, but these small changes led to some interesting anomalies in the coin's production. In fact, some of these coins contain errors or features that make them rare and potentially valuable. And that's what we're here to uncover today. Now, let's talk about the design and features of the 1988 nickel. On the obverse, you'll find a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, with his signature hairstyle and distinguished profile. It's a design that's been around since 1938, but the 1988 version is slightly different in its finer details, such as the depth of the engraving and the positioning of the text. As with all nickels, you'll also find the date, 1988, and the mint mark, which tells you where the coin was minted. On the reverse side, you'll see Monticello, Jefferson's beloved home in Virginia. Monticello has been part of the nickel's design since 1938, symbolizing Jefferson's legacy in his contributions to the country. While this side of the coin didn't change in 1988, the production process itself was a little different. The minting techniques used that year created subtle variations in the way the coin was struck, and these could make the 1988 nickel one to look out for. But hold on, this isn't the most exciting part yet. The most intriguing part of the 1988 nickel is actually hidden in plain sight. Now, you may be wondering, how could a coin as ordinary as a 1988 nickel possibly be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars? Let's take a look at the rarity and value of this coin. For most of us, the 1988 nickel is just another coin, worth its face value of 5 cents. It's easily found in your change, and it doesn't stand out from any other nickel produced in that year. So, what makes it special? Well, here's the kicker: not all 1988 nickels are created equal. Some are rarer than others, and those rarer coins can command high prices in the collector's market. You see, not every coin is minted perfectly. In fact, some 1988 nickels were struck with minting errors or produced as part of a special proof set. These mistakes or special editions are what makes certain 1988 nickels so valuable. Now, before we get to the rarest of them all, let me give you a taste of what I'm talking about. In general, a standard, circulated 1988 nickel is worth only 5 cents. Nothing special, right? However, if you've ever come across a coin that looks a little different, maybe it's a little off-center, or the lettering is blurred or double-stamped, that's where the magic happens. These errors could increase the value of the coin significantly. But there's one rare 1988 nickel that could blow your mind, and trust me, you won't believe how much it's worth. Before I reveal it to you, let's dive into the key to the rare 1988 nickel. The first and most obvious type of valuable 1988 nickel is the proof coin. Proof coins are specially minted coins made for collectors, not for general circulation. They're produced using a different process, which results in a coin with a mirror-like finish and fine details that you won't find on regular coins. A proof 1988 nickel, in excellent condition, could be worth a lot more than its face value, especially if it's part of a limited edition or special set. But wait, there's something even rarer than just a proof coin. What if I told you that there's a specific mint error on a 1988 nickel that could make it worth thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands, of dollars? I know, it sounds unbelievable, but I'm about to show you how to spot it. Before we reveal the most valuable 1988 nickel, let's talk about how to identify which of these coins might be worth something. The first thing to check is the mint mark, which tells you where the coin was made. The mint marks for 1988 are D for the Denver Mint, P for the Philadelphia Mint, and S for the San Francisco Mint. But here's the thing, certain mints produced fewer coins than others, and this could make those coins more valuable. Next, look for errors. Mint errors, like double strikes, off-center strikes, or missing elements, can add significant value to a coin. For example, a 1988 nickel that was struck off-center, where the design is misaligned with the edge of the coin, could be worth much more than a regular nickel. You might also want to check for doubling of the lettering, a common minting error that happens when the coin is struck twice in the same spot. These errors are incredibly rare, but if you find one, it could mean a huge payday. Now, the most valuable 1988 nickels are the ones that have a mint error known as a double die. This is a rare mistake where the coin is struck with more than one impression of the design, creating a double image on certain parts of the coin. The 1988 nickel with this error is worth significantly more than its face value, with some examples selling for thousands of dollars, and a few extreme cases even reaching into the hundreds of thousands. So, how do you get your hands on one of these rare coins? The truth is, they don't just pop up every day. But with the right knowledge and some careful searching, you might be able to find one hiding in your own collection, or even in your spare change. And if you're lucky enough to find a rare 1988 nickel, there are several ways to sell it and get the best price. First, online marketplaces like eBay and specialized coin sites are great places to sell rare coins. You can list your coin with a detailed description and set a price based on its rarity. If you're unsure about its value, getting it appraised by a professional numismatist can help determine its worth. Now, I know what you're thinking, what's the catch? How do I know if I'm not getting scammed? That's a great question. The key to avoiding scams is to do your research, get expert advice, and only deal with trusted coin dealers or auction houses. Make sure to verify the authenticity of your coin and get a fair appraisal before you sell. So, do you have a 1988 nickel in your pocket right now? Or maybe one you found hidden in your change jar? Who knows, it might just be worth a lot more than you think. Stay tuned for more coin mysteries to be uncovered in future videos. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified when we reveal more hidden treasures from your pocket change. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting.